Hi, welcome to Free Spirit and welcome to a spirit message that I wanted to go into detail here about. When I always say on the channel, I always say you're a high priestess at work. And so I want to put down here, it's come up in the comments. Um, I say this a lot. You are a high priestess at work. So what does that really mean? What does that all mean? Being and living this way. So I wanted to elaborate on this. I do say it a lot on my channel, as basically it best encompasses all they make me feel on how to live and be and work and do and basically live your life this way. And they say that you who's listening or watching. So I do say this a lot. So what do I mean when I say this? It has come up in the comments that many are resonating, even with my very first video that I put on about this, saying like, if you see this, you are to be considered the high priestess. And I'm even finding it more interesting. I posted that video about a year ago, but I'm finding more and more people are finding it at this time, which is fantastic. But what does this really mean when I say you are the high priestess at work? Okay, so I typed in, it's a 111 on the video, and this is what came out. Um, so what does it really mean to be a quote unquote high priestess at work, which is what they're considering you whenever I leave a spirit message or when I'm doing spirit readings? They're looking at you as like the high priestess, okay? The high priestess at work. So what does it really mean to be a high priestess at work? You are clearly tapped into your divine connection. That's number one. You have and use your Clair-abilities, all your senses to navigate. And I have been talking about 2020 leading up to 2020. All our Clair-abilities have gotten more clear. It's what we're tapping into. It is our senses that are showing the way. We are going by that over our physical eyes and ears. So our Clair-abilities have only been strengthened and finely tuned for this time, I will say. I'm going to put this all in the description box as well. The next one is you stand alone, often in your wisdom, knowledge, and what you are doing. And they were calling it a powerhouse. You alone are a powerhouse. So it's come up in the comments a lot. You know, people feel like they're alone. They feel like they don't have people in the physical around them. Yes, you could be surrounded with great friends, family, everything else. But on the deepest side of yourself, on the deep levels, there is a loneliness. There's a because we are separated. We are divinely tapped in. There is a longing. There is it's a sense of feeling alone. There just is. Almost you could tell from almost from a child, your experience, the deepest parts of you. It is a soul journey. But they're saying you stand alone often in your wisdom, knowledge, and what you are doing, because you are a powerhouse. You are to be considered a powerhouse. So when you frame it like that, it's very empowering. It's almost like their belief in you to stand alone is stronger than you even realize. That your capacity to stand strong fully in your knowledge, your wisdom, what you know you are to do, you don't need the feedback from the physical. I know it can be difficult. And the other video really touched on this, that very often you have to be fed directly. Look for ways to get divine support directly, because that's where you're deeply fed. There's almost no words for it, but that's probably why you're attracted to tarot cards, oracle cards, meditation, losing yourself in nature. You have a direct connection. You need to be fed directly. Yes, people can be there for you, but on deep levels, you need to get it directly. So they're saying you stand often alone in your wisdom, knowledge, what you are doing, and they're saying a powerhouse. You are a powerhouse. Okay, you need to be getting guidance directly from source, intuition, your direct divine connection. You are running on something else despite the world around. It's a divine current. It's almost like you are one with divine timing. You know when to act, when not to act. You see signs in everything around you. It's like a subliminal other conversation going on always. There almost are no words for it, where the universe, your environment, you're getting sign symbols, you're using your senses all the time. You're getting your guidance directly from source, intuition, your direct divine connection. You're definitely running on something else despite the world around. You know, the world around congratulates competition, win at all costs, money, all these qualities that necessarily don't even align at all. So you're running on something else despite the world around, a divine current, right? You are highly linked to high levels of love, compassion, equality, kindness, peace. It's almost like radical peace, radical kindness, radical love, radical compassion, radical equality. You were like ahead of your time with this. It's almost like there's no space almost for this high level of it in this world yet. You feel backed by spirit, source, divine as you work or do things. You're supported. You know you are. You may have up days, down days, and everything else, but you know you are divinely backed. Um, and in various ways, like you could be working on something, a lot of the times creatively, you could get divine ideas, things to go. And if you trust that, you're riding this divine current and you know it's bigger than you and you trust it above all else. You almost can't put it into words. So you're highly linked and you feel backed. You do all you can to remain as clear as possible. And you've almost learned the hard way. I do have to say, most of your life experience has shown when you absorb so much of the material world, of the physical world, how important it is to clear out every day almost, because we absorb so much. We have so much set. We're highly, our senses are so heightened. um, what may be difficult for some people or just considered toxic. I mean, they have no idea. You could get physically ill, seriously ill, that you do have to clear out. You will be shown the way how to clear out for yourself what works for you. Losing yourself in nature, losing yourself in creative things. You'll find your ways to clear. It is so important, like divine self care of yourself to remain clear. And yeah, you do all you can to remain as clear as possible. You are also clearly and lovingly interested solely and solely, like they're saying solely as in one and only, and solely as in your soul. You are clearly and lovingly interested solely and solely in what's good and better for you and all others. Meaning, um, yeah, everybody wants to make money, but you will not sleep well at night to make an extra dollar if you knew it was at the cost of someone else. You don't run on that kind of, um, it's almost like the physical mentality and how it's set up. It's almost like it's just not aligned. It's just not aligned. It has to be good and better for you and all others. You almost won't be interested. You can't almost sleep at night. It won't be aligned to you. It's not possible almost. That way of living, like gouging or lying to make a buck, or not being genuine in things. It's solely and solely what's good and better for you and all others. It's your compass. It's what how you naturally are. Um, so you are the quote unquote high priestess at work, doing the positive actions in your life from all above. From all above, literally from all above, that talking about tapping in higher to the higher love and source and spirit, but also from doing everything I mentioned above. You are the quote unquote high priestess at work, doing actually the positive actions in your life when you are inspired from the above, um, doing all the actions that I mentioned above. It's putting it into action. The quote unquote high priestess at work is part of the divine creations, recreations, co creations, because you're getting divine ideas, divine creativity, divinely inspired, and then you're doing the work, right? You're sharing your knowledge, your wisdom, you're pouring it out into things. You're following that. It's your compass. You're following that. And as a high priestess at work, you know that. And they put it in capitals. You know that. And that is the key. You know that above all else. And let me tell you, you know that that trumps everything. Where you think you look around and people are rewarded for crap, or people are getting ahead. It's not aligned with spirit or source. This is, you know that. You know better. You know what you're running on. You know what you're pouring yourself into. You know what you're tapped into. You stay aligned to that no matter what. It's a different current. You are the high priestess at work. And they're saying, well, I know that those who find my channel are to be considered high priestess at work. And that's why I always say that, because it's all encompassing of all I just mentioned. I've never really, you know, spoke like exactly what I mean when I say you're the high priestess at work. Like everything that encompasses, it's the high priestess at work. It's how you are being at work in your life, not just at work, like what you're doing. It's like how you're living, how you're being. You're working all the time, just going through your life, even in your personal. It is beyond. It's the high priestess at work in all ways, and they literally said, "Thank you for all your work. You are literally grounding higher love when being a high priestess at work." And I have chills all over my body when I say that. And make no mistake, I'm leaning this on a book that says in a piece. I mean, this is, you are literally grounding higher love when being a high priestess at work. You are in so many ways, countless ways. There are no words. So I'm just leaving it with that. Thank you for all your work. Quote unquote, you are literally grounding higher love when being a high priestess at work. Thank you. And this has been why I keep saying you are the high priestess at work, what that all really means, being and living that way. And that is what it's all about. So I wanted to leave this and thank you, thank you, thank you again for all your work. It is work. I mean, everything I mentioned, that is work. That is work. And it is lone work. Like they're saying, look at yourself as a powerhouse. Um, and thank you for all your work. You are literally grounding higher love when being a high priestess at work. I'll leave you with that. Take care. Bye bye.